Hey, Wellspring volunteers, thank you so much for taking time to watch this video. The kids ministry is so important to our church. Pastor Chris and I talk about it often, how critical it is for us to do things well here, disciple kids, equip parents, and you doing this makes that a part of it. So thank you on behalf of Wellspring Church for volunteering in Wellspring Kids. We're taking a few minutes to walk through an info sheet about safety guidelines and ways to protect children and protect you should we ever have to do that. So thanks so much for engaging in this video. All right, if you'll make sure your PDF is printed out, or at least you can look at it on the screen, I'm going to walk through this now. So every time inside your room there should be a folder, and that folder is going to have this sheet in there. The other important piece of information that has, besides the lesson you're doing, is the attendance sheet. We take attendance at the computer and check in, but when children are in your room, you just need to go through, check off their name. That's going to be important in any emergency situation. For a fire situation, for sure, you would do a head count. If you would hear a fire alarm, you do a head count in the room, make sure you know who's in the room, take that folder with the attendance sheet with you, and go out to the nearest emergency exit. So that means for your room, you need to look down the hall and see where the nearest exit always is. There's going to be at least 2 ways in this hallway here at Trivium for Wellspring Kids. So make sure you do that. Once you go outside, you're going to go 1 of 2 places. The first rally point is the football field outside on the north side of the campus. The second rally point is the courtyard area where the soccer field is with the turf on it. That's another area you can go to. Get as far away from the building as possible or as needed for the emergency. Once you get out there, go through your attendance sheet, make sure you have all the children that you left with. That's an important part. Once parents get to us, we're always going to evacuate children first, but once parents come to us, please do go ahead and make sure we do the normal checkout process. They should still have a tag. There's going to be lots of things going on if there's a fire alarm, whether it be a false alarm or a real alarm. But make sure they have the tag and exchange that. And of course, listen to whatever firefighters or paramedics tell us to do. The next situation would be an injury. A child, whether it be in the playground or in the classroom, can be injured. If it's life-threatening or you're unsure, call 911. On this sheet is the address of the school. Just read that to them or tell them it's a Trivium Prep. There's also a landline in your room. You can use that, and that way should also give them 911 the actual location. You want to tell them you're in the kids building, the most northern building on campus. We'll have someone out there waiting for paramedics. If it's not life-threatening, but it's an injury that needs care, we have a first aid kit in the main bin in the hallway that says kids supplies. It has gloves in there and needed stuff. Of course, the kids coordinator or minister can help you with that. Next to that is a red folder, and it says incident forms. Those are important things. So let's say a kid cuts his hand. He's okay or she's okay. You still want to fill out an incident form. It says, here's what happens, here's who saw it, etc., etc. You fill it out. When the parent comes, we will give them a copy of that. We will keep a copy and we'll give them a copy. You explain what happened. If for whatever reason you think the parent needs to come and get them immediately after the injury, please let the coordinator or minister know. We'll go and retrieve the parent either by texting them or going into the service and getting them. So you just give us instructions on how best to do that so we can continue to care for the other children in your class and the child who's injured. If we ever had a lost child, restroom runs, all of a sudden you realize someone's gone or kids slid outside the door when you open up the door for something else. Let as many people as you know can as possible. We're going to lock down the building and we're going to be looking. Do your best to describe the child, what they might have been wearing, height, size, that kind of thing. It happens, kids get hidden in small places, but we want to make sure that no one's ever taken. So we want to act on this quickly and not assume that everything's okay. Tell the coordinator, tell the minister, we'll keep doing it. The last one is probably the most important, the least likely of these, but critical, and that is some kind of intruder. Couple things. One, there's always any kind of threat. Someone who has a family problem who's coming to take a child or do harm, or someone who just has malintent, whether that be with a weapon or just by themselves, if they're threatening. The good thing is when you come in the entryway of the building, there are some glass doors. We have those propped open. If you ever sense that something wasn't right or you felt scared, you can simply move that little door jamb and that door will close and it's at least locked. And you can come down this hallway. If it got worse than that, the first thing you always want to do is escape and run. If you have that chance, you do that. You gather your kids, you go out the next exit. If you're in this hallway, you can go out to the end, take a left, you'll go to the rally point, which is the inside football field, the soccer field in the courtyard, or you can go out the other way. It's just important you get away from the building with taking all your children's and your folder. If you don't think running is an option, but you feel like there's a threat at place, you want to come in your room. Some of the rooms can lock, some cannot. Barricade yourself in, get away from the door, turn out the lights, keep the kids quiet. This would be nerve-wracking, but do your best just to conceal yourself. We're just borrowing time for the police to come. If you're not sure police have been called, call 911. Use the address on this form that's right in the front of your folder. Do your best. Some of our doorways have multiple rooms, connecting bathrooms. You can go through there, you can go through there, lock yourselves in. Your best thing is to run. If you can't run or escape, then hide. And last thing would be fight, but we hope that we'd have other people responding so we can help eliminate those problems. Child drop-off and child pickup. I know most of you volunteer a couple times a month or once a month, and so this might be a little awkward for you, but here's what we need to do. When parents drop off, their child should have a name tag on their body. It should be a plastic or a sticker one on the front or back. It'll have the kid's name. When they come in, make sure they have that. Even if you know them really well, please make sure they have that sticker. The parent should be able to give you that. When they drop off, if you're not sure they know our system, make sure that you say, hey, please bring your tag back, and please, you as the adult, come and pick up your child. A lot of times people want to send their other siblings to pick them up, 10, 12, 15-year-olds, and I understand the convenience of that, but we want the adults to pick them up. And when they come to pick them up, here's the process. You meet them at the door. Don't just leave the door open. Meet them at the door and say, hey, do you have your tag? And hopefully they've already had it out and it makes it really easy. If not, just say, hey, do you have your tag? And it might be a really good friend. But that exchange of tags gives us accountability. And should anything ever happen, we can always say we had a process by which we checked every child in and out. So that's an important part of our emergency process. All that is detailed here in the child pickup with more details. So again, we want parents picking up children. We want them always to have their tag. Remind them when they drop off. It makes it easier when they come back. Hey, one more important for security for children and for you is for you to avoid one-on-one time with children. That's part of what you're doing, but we want one-on-one time with children to always be out in public view. And so this includes in the classroom. Don't take children alone to other classrooms. Keep out in public. Other thing, if they need restroom help, most of them will be wearing diapers. If they're needing a restroom, hopefully they can handle that themselves. But if you need to help them and get buttoned up, use the door, keep it propped open, create a little bit of privacy for the child, but always where you can be seen. This more or less protects you. Kids can have bad situations. We don't want that to happen. Sometimes they misunderstand and they might say something. So you always being never one-on-one with the child, always within view is what you need to do. And so that includes, we want to love on kids. We want to show them appropriate affection. But that can also be misread and sometimes. So children sitting on laps after they're age 1 or 2 is something you want to avoid. You can have them sit next to you, you can pull up a chair, you can get down on the floor if you're capable of doing that. But avoid elongated hugs, avoid sitting on laps. All those things have been misread and misreported and sometimes misused and abused, and we don't want that at all. We want to be above reproach, and so doing that for kids is the best way. Other thing, if a child, parent tells you there's an allergy, please let them know that. We write on the board, or you can as the teacher write Allergy Alert. If you're providing a snack that day, write what it is. Hopefully they'll tell you what a parent would tell you if there's any other allergy. So make sure you pay attention to that and protect those children. If you have a concern, let the ministry coordinator or minister know what to do, and we'll walk through that together. Thank you so much. So as a part of this, once you've watched this video and you've read through this, please take the time to sign the bottom, and you can send that back to us via email. Just a scanned PDF is fine, or you can give it to us physically. This is just our way of knowing that you took this time, and it helps us feel good about the process we have in place. Man, we love the opportunity. We want to be safe and have secure places. Here's why. Because we get to say the name of Jesus to children. We get to teach them the Bible. And that is so critical to security beyond heaven. And so that's what we want to do. So thanks for your part in helping us.